Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. Yes, we do. If that sounds like something you are interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the family. Okay, today we are back with a new video and another new brand. I feel like I've tried so many new brands for 2022 already, and I'm loving it. I actually discovered this brand on Makeupreleaseradar's Instagram. So if you don't follow her, I would definitely recommend that you go check her out. If you are into indie makeup and you want to discover some new indie brands, that is the account you need to be following. And today I am going to be testing out for the first time Spellbound Beauty. So I heard about Spellbound when I was looking at Makeupreleaseradar Instagram, and I saw that they're releasing this new palette. It's called the Cult palette. So I was really intrigued by the brand and I decided to pick it up. I did try to do some research about this brand, but I honestly could not find a ton. So I'm sorry if there are gaps here. I will try to reach out to the brand and see if they can answer any of the questions that I have, and I'll pin it in a comment down below. But for today's video, what I'm going to do is give you guys all of the product details that I have, do some live swatches, and then we'll dive into one, maybe two looks. So, like I said, I found this brand on Instagram from Makeupreleaseradar's profile, and I went on their website. They don't actually have their own website. It's actually sold on Etsy. And I decided to pick up not only the new palette that they're releasing, which is the Cult palette, but also their old palette, which is the Oracle palette. And they're both so absolutely beautiful. Now, these are two different sizes. And let me see if I can find the prices of both. And overall, the brand is quite affordable. So the Cult eyeshadow palette retails for $20, while the Oracle palette also retails for $20. So this is the Oracle palette. We have 15 shades. It is, and I'll read description. So it says that this is heavily inspired by tarot cards. So it's 15 highly pigmented pressed eyeshadows, and it's vegan and cruelty free. So this retails for, like I said, $20, and you get 15 shades. The new palette, which is the Cult palette, you also get 15 shades and also retails for $20. This is a very beautiful grunge color story. And when you look at the item details, all it says is that these are 15 highly pigmented eyeshadows, shimmers, and mattes, all vegan as always. So like I said, not a ton of details about either of these palettes. The sleeve for the Cult palette does say that this has a 12-month shelf life, but it does not tell me where these shadows are made. And it has those details in the back. The Oracle palette sleeve does have the ingredients for the palette, and this one has a 24-month shelf life. I found that to be very interesting because the formulas look similar, if not the same, in both palettes, but the shelf life for these are very different. So this one actually has double the shelf life of this one. So I'm kind of confused by that. And it looks like, even though this palette is bigger in terms of size, the eyeshadow pans are the exact same. So I found that quite interesting as well. Anyway, for today's video, we're going to dive into the Cult one because it is the one that they just released, and I know folks may be interested in picking this up and seeing how it performs on deeper skin. So let's just dive into some swatches of this palette. It's so pretty. I love that all of these shades would definitely show up on a deeper complexion. It is stunning. Okay, we're going to go row by row. So here we have the first 4 shades. The mattes felt a little creamy, which I kind of appreciated. The shimmers, I'm not sure. This is interesting. It was a very interesting texture. So first up, we have Lament. Feels like a very satin shade. Excess. Cold. And Babylon. Let me swatch Babylon again. My pinky finger is a little small. There we go. Here we have the next 4 shades. Adore. Revolution, Mercy, and Ceremony. Here we have the next 4 shades. Venus, Obsession, Debauchery, I'm saying that right, and Voices. Oops, sorry. I kind of covered one shade with the next. And here we have the last 3 shades. Haunted, Aftermath, and Ophelia. Okay, so here we have all 15 shades. So as you can tell, it's very deep, very grunge, very cool toned in a lot of ways. I do think that some of these shades do seem a little bit redundant to each other when swatching them, and I'm wondering if they will show up kind of redundant on the eyes. Like, this shade and this shade are very, very similar. This one just has more of a purple undertone than this one, and this one is a little bit deeper. Even this shade and this shade are very similar, as well as this black did not swatch very well. It does not seem super pigmented. The 2 greens in the palette also swatched very, very similar, so they may just show up quite almost identical on the eyes. So that's interesting. And it does feel like this red is a tad out of place because it's very purple in terms of the color story, and then you have this red. So I feel like these swatches kind of threw me off because some of the mattes swatched quite powdery or felt quite powdery. Some of the mattes felt quite creamy, and the same with the shimmers. Some of them felt very powdery, some of them felt very creamy. They're all on the satin side. I don't think any of these are high shine metallics. So, okay, I mean, I would have liked to have some of those high shine metallics in there, but that's completely fine. So let's see how these are going to perform on the eyes. I think I'm going to do 2 looks, one on each eye, and we will go from there. I don't even know where to start with this palette.
It's like I'm trapped in a cage, feeling broken in places, reeling from all these faces, screaming at me from the inside out. I've had enough, forget it. I don't need it, but forgetting I need you a little from the inside out. Not saying I've got it worse, not saying it's the most hurt I've been, but it's enough to piss me off, and it's not always the deepest cut that leaves the longest scar. Oh, you got a little black soul, as dark as it gets, you're a gaping hole of emptiness, a big bag of regrets. Can't close my eyes, don't wanna see what comes next. Oh, you got a little black soul, you're a shadow in the sun wherever you go. Got no friends and nothing to show for it, your little black soul. It's like you're oblivious to it. You can't see it, but you do it. What happened to us? It has me screaming inside out. I say you're wrong, so stupid. Even wrote this song to prove it. Sing it and you're gone, you lose it from the inside out. Not saying I've got it worse, not saying it's the most hurt I've been, but it's enough to piss me off, and it's not always the deepest cut that leaves the longest scar. Oh, you got a little black soul, as dark as it gets, you're a gaping hole of emptiness, a big bag of regrets. Can't close my eyes, don't wanna see what comes next. Oh, you got a little black soul, you're a shadow in the sun wherever you go. Got no friends and nothing to show for it, your little black soul. One day we'll tell stories of your stories, of your stories. One day we'll tell stories of you, of you. Oh, you got a little black soul, as dark as it gets, you're a gaping hole. Emptiness, a big bag of regrets. Can't close my eyes, don't wanna see what comes next. Oh, you got a little black soul, you're a shadow in the sun wherever you
Okay, so this is what the eyes are looking like right now. There is a ton of fallout right here. So I'm going to try to dust that off, finish up my waterline, and then I'll come back and give you guys my final thoughts on this. Ooh, baby. If you can't tell, I'm impressed. I'm quite impressed.
Don't need to make a sound, don't need no words to say, yeah. Baby, you hold me down just like this gravity, yeah. We could be underground, you make it feel like space, yeah. Baby, you hold me down just like this gravity, gravity.
Okay guys, so this is the final, well, these are the final two looks. So I got a really nice purple bluish look going on in this eye, and then this really nice kind of red, grungy red look on this side. And honestly, I am impressed. I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched these shadows, I was like, I don't know. I was a little skeptical. I wasn't feeling what it was putting out in the swatches, but that is the true testament of the fact that swatches do not give you the full picture. These two looks are absolutely stunning. I loved the way the mattes blended in this palette. One thing that I look for specifically when I'm buying eyeshadow is really, really good matte eyeshadows. Mattes for me are the foundation for my looks, and I spend a lot of time blending just generally. So I like to have mattes that are able to blend easy, that can lay on top of each other well without getting muddy. And that's what I got with this palette, surprisingly. Like when I first swatched it, some of the mattes were on the creamy side, some were on the dry side, but all of them swatched kind of patchy, and I was a little bit worried that they would apply pretty patchy. But they applied really well, they blended really easily. The pigmentation in this is absolutely beautiful. There are some redundancies. I think that some of these shades are too close to each other, which makes some of them really redundant. These two shades here have a purple undertone, and they're deep matte shades, so they look very similar on the eye. Even though I didn't go in with these two green shades, when I swatched them, they looked identical on the eye as well. The shade that I think I'm most impressed by is the shade Cold, because I thought it was a basic shimmer, and I feel like even when I swatched it, it seemed pretty much like a basic shimmer, like a gray shimmer at that. But on the eyes, this has a blue tint to it. It's like a blue-gray shade. So when I put it next to the purple, it really, really popped. The shimmers in this palette are satins. I'm just gonna say that. They're not metallic. I don't know how they would perform if you sprayed your brush, if you would get something that's a little bit more metallic, but these are satin shimmers. But I am not mad at it. I actually really enjoy satin shimmers a lot of the time. The red I think is really, really nice. It's definitely not my favorite red eyeshadow, but I thought that was cute as well. The one shade that I'm kind of disappointed in is the black. It's swatched patchy and it did not have a ton of pigmentation, and that translates to the eye as well. Like, it's not a very pigmented black. However, if you are a beginner and black eyeshadow scares you, which I totally understand because black eyeshadow can be used to deepen up colors. However, if you don't know how to use black eyeshadow well, or if a black eyeshadow is too pigmented, it can completely ruin your look. So the fact that this is not as rich as some of the blacks that I've used before and not super pigmented doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing, but I would have liked a richer black in this palette. But it is what it is. I will use it. It's completely fine. I also would have appreciated a deeper brown shade, because these two purple shades, while they are nice at adding depth, they are very purple leaning. So it's like brown purple, but with a strong purple leaning shift. I would have liked just a deep, rich matte brown. And that is honestly something that I would prefer in every eyeshadow palette. Either give me a deep matte black or a deep matte brown, or both. I'll take both. Yeah. This shade here I went in with as an inner corner highlight, and I think it's perfect. I think they gave us one shade that is very universal and can work with all of the colors in here as an inner corner highlight. You can of course apply this to your lid, use it to create a nice halo eye if you want as well, so that's not bad. The matte to shimmer ratio is also pretty good. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmers, and this is a 15 pan eyeshadow palette, so it's majority mattes with with 6 shimmers. This shade here is an interesting one because I think that it's a matte shade with a little bit of sparkle in there. It's kind of like what ColourPop does, where they will have these matte shades with like these very, very fine glitters in there that don't necessarily show up on the eyes. Yeah, and this is like the perfect transition shade. I loved this color. It's definitely a neutral kind of pink leaning shade, but I think it actually works well as a transition for all of the colors in this palette. Okay, final thoughts. I think that this is a really, really good palette. For $20, I am very, very impressed. It comes with a mirror, which is also really nice. The packaging is not my favorite. I actually don't like this. It's giving me Beetlejuice vibes, this packaging, but it's not like the greatest packaging. But I can live with that. It's a $20 eyeshadow palette. But like I said, the shadows perform well. They're very, very easy to work with. I created these looks so quickly, and that is something that I was quite impressed by. It usually takes me a very long time to do my eyeshadow because I like to blend and mix and all this other stuff. But because the shadows blend so well together, I was able to create both of these looks very, very quickly. I am going to keep checking for this brand. I do want to try the Oracle palette next because I am curious as to whether or not this is the same formula as this one. Just because the shelf life of these are different. Like I said, this one is 24 months, this one is 12 months. I don't understand why. So I'm going to try this one to see if it's the same formula or not. This one has, you know, brighter colors, so I have to take that into account as well because some of these brighter colors can be a little bit harder to formulate than some of those deep, grungy matte tones. If you have a deeper complexion, you will love this palette. All of the shades show up on our skin. All of them will have the level of pigmentation that you need. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today on this video. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and come back because I have so many other new brands that I've brought into my collection or I'm bringing into my collection that I get to try out for you guys. And I have a lot of thoughts about all of these new formulas. I will make sure to link the Etsy website for this brand as well as the Instagram page and Makeupreleaseradar, so you can go check them out if you want to get into more indie brands. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, you know the deal. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, helping me grow. I appreciate all of it and I can't say enough. Love you guys. I will catch you in my next one. Bye.